Hi guys, I just want to talk about something very significant in the path towards awakening, because there is a huge misconception in this path. So it doesn't truly require any effort to awaken to what you already are. It doesn't require any effort to awaken to your true nature. Does it resonate with you? It's a kind of conditioned pattern, because in our society we are taught that we have to somehow work hard, that we have to push through in order to somehow reach a goal. But on the journey towards awakening, that's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. We are already consciousness. You are already this. So you don't need to require any effort for this. Because again, in our society we have to do things. We have to work very hard to wish something, to wish a point in the future. But I think it's time to realize that you don't need to do anything. You don't need to do anything to realize that you are this. You don't need to do anything. It's already here right now. It's when you stop doing, when you stop doing this movement. But when there is a kind of doing, there is a movement in time. So I am doing something to reach a point in the future, to reach awakening in the future. But awakening is now, it's in the present moment. Does it make any sense to you? So simply relax. It's here. I truly know that the ego desires to practice some things. I'm going to meditate every morning as I used to do. Because I know I repeat myself, but initially you have to do things, of course. The ego needs to practice something, needs to practice meditation, of course. But at some point, and the point is here, you need to realize that there is nothing to do to realize the truth, which is already here right now. I truly know that it's a challenging one, but let me clear this up. What is the true purpose of meditation? We could say to silence the mind, to watch the mind, observe the thoughts, the sensation, any manifestations. Okay? And does it take any effort to silence the mind? So when you meditate, are you like this? Oh, I need to silence my mind. It's too noisy. Does it take any effort to do this? Because when you create an effort to silence the mind, I'm going to tell you the truth, it will never work. It will never work. And for awakening is exactly the same. As long as you somehow do an effort to awaken to your true nature, awakening will never occur, I promise. It will never occur. So again, it's time for you to relax, to rest, to take some rest. And discern the true from the false. What has always been permanent? What has always been here? It's simpler than you may think. It's simpler than you may think. Because, okay, the mind tries to create a concept of this. So leave the mind alone and feel this. Feel this. Because I promise awakening is already here. Meditation is always available, no matter the circumstances, no matter what's going on. Your true nature is always here. It's like the whole world is an ashram. You don't need to go to India to realize something. If your heart tells you to do so, okay, go in India, go to India. But I'm telling you, the truth is always present. It's always here. So I truly know that the ego longs for to somehow get rid of itself. Initially, it's the beginning of the path. So it's the ego that wants to get rid of itself. That's funny when you think about this, right? But this movement, at some point, this movement needs to stop. And to realize that all this movement of this ego, that desire to awaken, it's an illusion. It's an illusion from the mind. And you need to realize that this whole character, this whole persona, this sense of personhood is a big, huge illusion. And you can observe that from a point that is still here. A point that doesn't move. And it's here right now. Even if you have somehow created a spiritual character, it's an illusion. So even tuning lingam is part of the dream, a created identity. It's part of the dream, and you are part of this dream. You are part of this dream. This whole past is an illusion. There is no future at all. There is only this. Even your journey towards awakening needs to stop. You don't need to seek this, as it's already here. I know that the ego loves to say, yeah, I am a spiritual seeker towards the truth. I'm a non-dual seeker. It's part of the dream. It's part of the dream. So you have never existed. I know it's challenging to hear that for the mind, for the ego, because the ego doesn't want to disappear. It doesn't want to fade away. But I think it's time to disappear and to feel this. Because the true self is this. Right now, it's here. Don't resist to this. I know that the ego wants to resist to this, but fully accept it. You have never existed. It's a huge dream. Just remain here, you see? That's you. So whatever appears, whatever pops up right now, you observe. Don't get caught to that. Don't add any narrative on top of this. Because any narrative is from the ego mind, the binary ego mind. So you are this. So it's not as complicated as it seems. It's somehow easier than you think. So it's very easy. It's very tough. It's very challenging for the mind, because the mind cannot grasp this. It's impossible. So I truly know that the ego longs for the truth. But the ego will never find it. The ego will never realize the truth. Can you feel this? Awakening is simply to realize that, okay, I am not this persona. I am not my past. I am not the story I thought I was. Okay, I'm simply this. That's awakening. So the character will never awaken. I know that you want to awaken, but you will never awaken. It's impossible. So awakening is simpler than you may think. It's simply a recognition of your true nature. Okay, I am this. Even I am this is too much. See, it's a tiny shift. Okay, I get it. Even I get it, it's too much. Sharing about awakening is very challenging sometimes because you have to put words on the truth, but any words added to the truth, it's too much. So the most powerful sharing or teaching would be this: no words at all. Simply this. I don't need to add anything to this silence. And you can feel kind of reflection. But of course, it's kind of a game to share towards awakening. It's kind of a game. One very crucial thing is be light with this path, because too much seriousness can somehow push you away from the truth. It will push you away if you take this path too seriously. So, what is it that is here? What is it that is experiencing this? You know where I want to point to? What is it that is aware of this? Aware of the changing, the movement. There is something that remains still here. That's you. So again, awakening is very simple. And I know that the ego can't stand hearing this. It drives it somehow crazy. It drives the ego crazy. But yes, awakening is very simple. Very simple. Not for the mind, not for the ego, but when you realize the truth, you'll be like, okay, that was that simple. That simple. So I think it's going to be the end of this video. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for all the comments, all the emails. And I have so many emails to answer that we promise that I will. So I'm just going to see if I need to add something. Let's see if something pops up in my mind, or I remain silent. Just one more thing. So it doesn't take any effort to work in true nature. So I think we are okay with that. And when you do some practices, I'm not here, if you are at the beginning of this part, I'm not here to tell you, no, don't do meditation anymore, it's so useless. No. It's simply that at some point you need to realize that the truth is here. And so meditation leads you towards here, which you already are, you see. And one good advice is when you meditate, you need to understand that no one meditates. You understand? Because initially we are here, okay, I am trying to meditate, but you need to delay it, you need to remove this I, okay? You need to remove the I. There is simply this. And no one is doing anything. There is simply this presence. There is simply that. It's not as, okay, I'm trying to meditate, but I can't, I have too much thoughts, my mind is so noisy. No. Simply remain present. Sit with yourself and observe. And of course you can ask yourself, what is here? It's a kind of non-doing practice. So meditation is a non-doing practice. So when you feel this, when you realize this, it's very powerful. Meditation it's a non-doing practice. You stop doing for a moment and you remain present. And you abide as your true nature, as this. And at some point, there will be a kind of shift. So, okay, I'm not all of this movement. I'm not all of this coming and goings. I'm not my past. I'm not the story of my life, of this person, of this illusory person. I'm simply this. And there will be a kind of click within. Okay? Much love.